That is what I wanted it to be with Anoa Zero. Series, no plot, her everything is. It is an adult version of Anoa Zero. I watched Anoa Zero when I was kids, and it's like it feel like best thing ever, and it's like a war shit. But when I watch Anoa Zero as an adult, it feels like it is just a plot, armor, princess, so straight plot line and stuff. But when I watch this anime, I feel it. What's the feeling that I watched it on a series when the first time? It feel like the best thing ever. Maybe I'm wrong, but like 86 is fucking great. Like everything in 86. It is about a slave, like the handler who is, handle this crude and like have doing nothing whatsoever most of the time and is useless. So Shin, who is the new who is the leader of the team, which trying to get rid of the handlers. So, and that is Shin brothers voice. That is enemy team. That is like overlord. There's these drones we need to learn, and like the world which the world inside the world and the world outside the wall, and they need to fight, and it's like it's real serious war anime, and it really shows how sad when people died, and like everything about this anime is perfect. Like it shows how people talking about 86 as a slave or something, and 86 also hating Nobu, Sukunobu human, and it's just really showing. It's really good how this anime shows everything about it, and like the topics about people who is people who is trying to sarcastic with each other, no one right, no one wrong. But we've seen in the first episode that 86 is like the right person, is the a good scorer with, and is a good person, is hating, and as viewer we hate the people who is, I would say, capital people living inside left 86 fight, and it's really just good drama about and topics and dark topics about how we should. It's about human. It's about how we hate each other, how we treat human being as a trash when we are the same, and it skipped this cliche of like and it skipped those cliche reaction of people just like that treating 86 of the princess that, oh no, 86 is also human, we shouldn't treat them like that, and everything just show, and like princess just, and the dialogue just goes on and on of like princess is of like 86 is a fucked up, no, these people are fucked up that treat 86 who is also human. Like we don't know if they did something bad, but they treat 86 like a slave, not a human being, which you don't know much. But it's also say that it is not a good thing. It is, and they treat it like normal thing. They treat it like the thing that naturally happened. At the first scene, Shin share. Like, I think this is just my interpretation. I haven't really know anything. I think that Shin just like uh killing the handler with in the layer on, it shows that it is some kind of point mirror stuff that happening in the 86 about that if we share the perception of each other or something, and like it would make that person having a hard time, or can make person go crazy with your perception. If like you have the VR perception, maybe like 86 is a type of human that has this tendency to be crazy minded, and like if Shin shared a thought with the commander who lived the whole life in peace can accept the thought of that there's dark thoughts, there's depressing thoughts and feeling of Shin, and later they died. As we see later on, Shin will kill the person that actually is the friend, means that he is having these thoughts. He is depressing. He is not talk much. It's probably because he has these thoughts, these depressions. And if you give sudden constructive depressions and talk in the head of the commander of all time, I think the handler of all time, I think that they probably cannot hold it in. But if there is like this later on called the ghost of brother or something, if Shin has this brother that die or something of his brother, and having the voices, and if this voice is vibrate on those the handler to get them out, I think that it will not being kind of in realistic in terms of the setting in the story, because it's war. It will be just another plot armor or something. I hope it's not like, I hope this not maybe not take the road of Honor Zero where everything is take on easy rate. Shin would not be like Inaru, who has this piloting and like win at the war for easiest reason, just planning. It's like Kongrung, it's like Kongming in the season, and like in Three Kingdom, and I think that it is like Slain. Shin in this anime is like Slain, who just essentially trying to go on to the highest rank, and like in the next episode, I hope even one fight of 86 could make a huge difference, could make up for the first fight of Honor Zero. I don't know if Honor Zero made with the same studio. So I just remember that Honor Zero also made by A1 Picture, with which I think A1 Picture have the experience with these kind of anime where there's war anime and having these much curses, and the tension, the musics, everything. I think they get experience from it and improve on not making on it, kind of sloppy straight plot armor like Honor Zero. And so the princess, who is you could say, in the capital of, it's kind of cliche plot about the princess who's in the capital. I think I'm not quite sure about the birth setting in this anime, but like there is people inside, right, and people who find outside to protect the cities, and like these, and people just disdain the Eroistic-Ke, and like making Eroistic-Ke like drawn, and people trying to conceal the presence the presence of the identity of 86, and to essentially make Eroistic being drawn the thing that is not that that is robot, so people don't have to freak out how they made the real person die down, which, like, I'd say it's quite a great example of the politics situation where we actually don't care about the people below. We actually don't know yet what it is to six and why they are here, but we do actually know that the people outside, the people up there, doesn't care about people below, like 86, and shows how it's quite cringe and straightforward political topics there, but it did great on portraying the drones to people, and it shows that princess is really actually a good person that can actually care about the secrets, but there's nothing she could do. Maybe in the future she would get into fight with 86, but 86 also hate this handily. The princess, actually, the princess is the person that is considerate of the 86, so she need to join the spearhead in order to helping with the work, because of the fact that she being the military, being searched to protect the hometown, she has the sense of the responsibility normal anime princess traits, and actually she is. And there is Shin, who essentially using the method probably related to pirate stuff that sends perceptions to make handler goes crazy and essentially kill them or drop them out. So essentially, probably the power of Shin, as I see in his eye, he has two different. He has green eye in one eye. Probably his powers when he turn, when he kind of annoyed about, I think, handily. So it's actually about. So it's actually probably about pirate and technology and some political. I love this scene that, and I love this gimmicks that we actually see that these people inside having different problems with boyfriends and stuff. Well, outside of the in the 86, in the zone war zone, 86 fighting with the drones of Legion, which is our enemy, probably another empire, or I think, and like we don't know anything yet. But what do we see is that there's war, and people inside is just as fucked up. This goes to research. It's just like you know, it's just like we don't blame her because of the fact that she do her best to survive in this harsh world. She actually quite smart though, and we can't blame her because of the fact that uh she just she for being like this, because it's a norms of the society by now in the other six that we need to disdain other sex in order to, you know, in order to go into the socials and stuff, and like we using other sex, and she didn't actually knows anything like us, who is now having a lot of media to watch, and knows that it isn't a bad thing to disdain on other human being, and like essentially it is a bad thing. And we see that our princess also, you know, a girly, girly human, and she actually not does not easily distract to eat cake or something. And like I actually kind of don't get point of this scene, but what I interpreting is that the princess also easily distract, and even though she do care about it sex, in her subconscious I think he still disdain him. Maybe in the future she will, risk her life to save the 86, maybe not, and like she is using, and Shin, who is the spearhead, is control the handler to essentially not making him in danger, and essentially killing the handler because they are useless. Like handler is just like a boss who is just essentially controlling the trade without going in the war themselves, and essentially not having the experience with war, and essentially just controlling and mishandling, just essentially disdain the other sex and trying to make them die and using them like a toy, which essentially it's like nightmare in Code Geass, where people are actually using drones to fight, to not making to essentially is the most powerful weapon in now in the human world. And it is things like that too. I would probably need to, it probably for sure that drones is the most advanced technological stuff in weapons in this era. People use it for, in order to essentially making war. So the people who is in that needs to be, and so it's easy because just make the low person of 86 using the drone to fight with Legion, and essentially making the Legion fuck, and essentially playing them like a toy, like a nightmare, but you are not in danger. So it's easy where you can not be in danger, and using the other sex, and everyone would agree because they are not being in danger, and it just shows how human nature are fucked up, how people being sarcastic with each other even though we are the same human being, and probably No one care about if they are the six or not. They just want people who lower than them, who they could be at ease looking from up top and using them as a toy to fight. And you don't need to be in danger. Plus, you could fight a war. You're not being in danger, and it's just easy, like right. And like there's no beneficial, you know, there is no loss and anything. It's just benefits. Uh, but you need to exchange with your morality to do what's right, what's wrong, and at last, in anime, in real life, in TV shows, everything what who do the wrong thing is the one that fucked up the most at last. so like as we say, who handlers who in 86, we see that in Spearhead, we see that people just living a fucking real fun life, and essentially beat the they need to beat they need to destroy the handler in order to, and to essentially rebellion, being a rebellion, but and not making the and not really not making them to be suspicious, which is a kind of good rebellion ideas. And essentially Shin, who seems to be Inaho, essentially he is just a badass guys who essentially probably drove the handler too crazy. And you see this, right? This is probably 86 or handler, I'm not sure, but seeing from the clothes, it's brown, right? It's brown, so it's probably 86 who got this stain and stuff, and killing them, and this kind of stuff. And we see one day you fight, one day you eat happily, one day you find you lost, you cry. That is nature of war. So in the other 6, we see that it cuts the cliche knot. Like in Attack on Titan, we see Eren and stuff, having easily living life and happy one day. The another day, we see it fighting the Titan and stuff, and the life turned to be a fucked up, turned to be the dark place, and in 86 we see that how it cuts into the scenes of like the friends of him, the friends of Shin, not not because of the fact that I think from my interpretation, I think that they do not have the hospital for people who is essentially hurt from the war. So essentially the friend of Shin, the world is not a fair place, and the friend of Shin who is hurt enough, and they need to die. So Shin, who killed them? It is Shin, who is essentially the leader, and he knows that Shin, who is hurt in the battle, there's no fix by, and Shin, who is the Reaper, need to kill them, and before last, she got killed. 86, no need to show, no need to talk much, no need to react much. It flows. And we see that day by day, 86, people just leave. No one care about the dying. Even just the Shin care about the drawing of his comrade, and like it is just only him that essentially care about the grip, and people just leave by. No need to react, no need to act big, no need to essentially trying to do anything, trying to being cliche. 86 did everything right about the war anime. Everything just flowed on. Kill, be, someone got killed. The war goes on. People live their life and stuff, and no need to essentially introduce anything. We just know by nature that it is a war anime. It is skipping the cliche that is our 86er.